Hello, in today's video lesson, we're going to look at question 1A and B on the 2024 AP Chem exam. So let's start by looking at this first question. This is a chemical equation is given to me, and pretty much this reaction is, it's a titration problem, so it's a neutralization reaction. So this compound here, this lactic acid, this is considered a weak acid, and we're reacting it with sodium hydroxide, which is a strong base. Now, you guys remember that all metal hydroxides are considered strong bases, and in terms of weak acids and strong acids, there is a list of strong acids you can memorize, but lactic acid is a weak acid, and I can tell this because it has a very low Ka value or equilibrium constant value, which means it favors mostly the reactant. Now, when I do this titration or when I mix these compounds together, I will get water, and then I'll get this compound here, NaC3H5O3, sodium lactate. This is actually a basic salt. So if you've learned about salt hydrolysis, you can kind of understand why, but that will dissociate, and it's a basic salt because that lactate ion has the potential to accept a hydrogen ion. So we'll talk about that more later, but that's what the reaction is, and that will help me answer A. It says here to identify using this structural diagram what hydrogen atom most readily participates in the chemical reaction. So knowing that this is an acid-base reaction, I know that, first of all, I know that the H's that are bonded to carbon, those are unreactive, and the only reactive components are these functional groups here. So the OH, this hydroxyl or this carboxylic acid, those are the two more reactive components. Now, because this is an acid-base reaction, and by the way, carboxyl is more reactive than hydroxyl, but also because I've identified that it's a weak acid plus strong base, I know this hydrogen is the one that must be reacting because it's the hydrogen that will be donated off of my carboxylic acid. Okay, so the COOH is has an acidic property, and that H plus is readily donated. Now in question B, the student begins the experiment by dissolving a certain amount of grams of sodium hydroxide into water to produce a solution. So how did we get the sodium hydroxide? It's through dissolving a solid in water. Calculate the molarity of the sodium hydroxide solution. So there's many ways you can do this question. It is a unit conversion. I like to use this little unit conversion chart that looks like this. So in chemistry, you can tell me how much of a substance I have in mass, or in moles, or in molarity. Molarity, which is another word for concentration. So as you can see, I'm given mass, and so I'm over here in my conversion chart, and I'm going to calculate molarity. So I'm going to go over here in my conversion chart. So to get to the answer, I have to go through moles. I need to turn mass into moles first, and then turn moles into molarity. So I do like to use a formula. I know you can do this just by unit cancellation, but I like to do the formula. So to go from mass to mole, I use N equals M over M, and to go from mole to molarity, I use C equals N over V. All right, so let's quickly do that here. So the moles of sodium hydroxide is going to equal 10.22 grams divided by 40.00 grams per mole. And I get 0.2555. The grams cancels out. The mole will reciprocal to the top. So I'm showing my units and unit cancellations to show where my unit came from. That is not my final answer, so I did leave all the decimal places. Now I'm going to turn this into molarity by plugging it into C equals N over V. So the concentration is 0.2555 mole divided by, we're going to change the 500 milliliters into liters because the standard unit for concentration is moles per liter. Okay, this is my final answer. The concentration of the solution is 0.511 moles per liter. This is rounded to 3 significant digits because In this question, I'm given, this mass value does have 4 sig digs, but the volume only has 3, so my final answer cannot be more accurate than my least accurate variable, which is the volume. Okay, so the sig digs are really important. That does get marked on the AP exam, and that's how we solve this question. If you would like to see the rest of question 1, please watch the next video. Thanks.